Okay, so due to very popular demand, I will be doing I guess you could call this like a tutorial for how you can make flips like Wasted in Sweden. This is like slightly scripted because like, I don't know if you can tell by the cuts like that have definitely already been made, but I be stuttering hella. So anyways, yeah, thank you guys a bunch for 50 subs. Consider this a 50 sub special, whatever. I'll save the yapping for the end. Let's just get right into it. This is gonna be me like speaking over a recording, by the way, so I don't know if that's relevant, but yeah. Alright, so first thing, you're gonna obviously, and my fault if like my fault if the audio is bleeding into the mic. Hold on, let me just change the output so that I can't hear it. Oh shit. Anyways, so obviously the first and most important part is gonna be your sample. I'm gonna save how I think of all of this and whatnot for the end, but for now I'm just gonna show you like how to slice it up, and then we'll get into like the rest of how you make these. Alright, so you're gonna want to grab sections of the sample that captivate you, you know, the ones that you like, and then cut them into like, how do I say this, into loops that are like a multiple of 4. So you're gonna either want a 2-bar loop, 4 bars, 8 bars, 12. Anything other than that gets really awkward, so I'd only recommend like sticking to 4 or 8, definitely the most comfortable lengths. That's how you get the sample for these beats, okay? The drums, okay? I'm not gonna bother trying to explain how I came up with the drum patterns. 1, I don't think they're too complicated. 2, I'm not the best teacher, so I'll just show you guys what I did here. One way I can explain this is try to find like pockets in the melody where it would sound cool to have different like kind of variations or rolls in your drum patterns, and then from there take the pockets that you found from the melody to create like one of the drum patterns that you came up with to create the rest of them, and you'll just automatically end up with something cool, okay? Yeah, here's that. 808s. For the 808s, which is also probably one of the biggest parts or most important parts for these, you're gonna want to find the bass notes for the given sample that you're gonna be using. So I've learned a bit about music theory, so I guess that's easy for me to say, but for someone who hasn't, just listen to the very lowest note that you can hear in the sample, and then I don't know if you guys have a keyboard, but I got one right here, so I don't know if you can hear that, but what you're gonna want to do is try to find what note matches the lowest note that you hear, and that's the bass note. And typically, this isn't like 100% of the time, but typically each bass note lasts for 1 bar. So what you want to do is just find the basic chord progression. Let's see what it is over here. So looks like it's D, and then E, and then G, and then C. So, and then from there, when you have it, you can take your kick pattern and kind of base your 808s off of that. You don't have to do that, but that's a nice, easy way to get it to sound, you know, cool. Yeah, there you go. If you're a returning viewer, then you would know that every single flip I've uploaded to this channel has at least one Jersey break in it. I've been kind of obsessed. I know some people find it annoying, but like, bro, it just like scratches the itch on my brain. Like, I have to do it, and the stomps just make it sound extra nice. Something I learned from Cody, which is who you should be watching, by the way, if you want a better teacher for all of this. Cody, cxdy, if you don't know him somehow. He says another good thing is to add sound effects to your beats. Kind of just brings it together. Find little pockets where it'll sound cool. Kind of like drums, but another thing you're gonna want is a reference track. So the way I came up with all these cuts is like pretty unoriginal, I'm not gonna lie. It's just the same, not the same like 100% of the time. Like I do switch it up from the original song Wasted by Juice WRLD, but the cuts I have here, I'm pretty sure all of them are like in the original song too. The acapella, I'm not hiding anything, like it literally says it's like, bro, like YouTube to MP3 is gonna have a lot of popular acapellas. Sometimes you're gonna have to use websites. Some websites I can recommend for that are vocalremover.org. Yeah, it'll only let you do so many free ones a day, but you know, it's better than nothing. You can use I think it's pronounced like lol.ai. A lot cleaner, but it's not free. It's pretty cheap though, so yeah, it's definitely not a bad option. Forgot to mention one more really important part. You're gonna want to make sure the sample and the acapella that you're using are like at least in the same relative key. If you don't know what key either of them are, you can go to this other website called pulsemusic.app, type in the song of the acapella, and yeah, odds are it'll have the BPM, key. What I meant by relative key, no, I have a very easy way to explain this. So, see on your keyboard, luckily, I pitched it down. It's originally in D major, but I pitched it down by 2, so it's in C major now. And Wasted is in A minor. I'm pretty sure Pulse Music will say something like C major. Websites like TuneMat, Pulse Music might say certain songs are in a major key when they're really in a minor key. One way to get about that, just use your intuition. Wasted. Does that song sound very happy? No. You can assume it's in a minor key, not a major key. So what do C major and A minor have in common? Obviously they use all the white keys, but for people who are watching this that aren't music theory nerds, what are you gonna do when the key isn't all white keys? Very simple fix. Okay, what you're gonna want to do is count down by 3. So down from 3 steps down from C, B, A sharp, and then A. 1, 2, 3. Since C major or C is 3 keys higher than A minor is a relative minor key to C major. That's why the acapella of Wasted fits on the version of the Sweden sample that I made. Okay, let's go back a bit, because here I am showcasing the plugins and stuff that I use for the quiet parts of the sample. As you could probably tell from earlier on, one of the parts that I sliced up is very quiet. So you're gonna wanna like just increase the volume to make sure that it kind of matches the volume of the normal part of the sample. Okay, so I got a compressor, right? So what that's basically doing is just making the quiet parts of the sample and the loud parts of the sample not sound way too different in volume. And then a limiter, because if you don't have it and it goes above 0 decibels, it's gonna start clipping, sound very bad. Don't want that. Nothing much on the hi-hat and the snare, which just really goes to show you that all you really need is like good drum sounds. Because honestly, I do usually process my drum sounds, but I high-key just forgot in this one, but I think it still sounds fine. So all you really need is like good drum sounds. You know, shout out to Cody once again. Default drum sounds, no processing, sound fine, and that was like literally an accident. But I do have something else going on in the hi-hats. I like to randomly pan them a lot. Adds a lot, like, without you really noticing. Don't mind the wacky cue on the kick. That's just for a certain section. I have it automated. It's not always on. I know that looks terrible, but it adds to the vibe in certain sections, okay? Then you're gonna want a limiter on anything you don't want going over 0. I'm gonna have a lot of limiters on this. Like, also for the kick and 808, get them to hit hard, you're gonna wanna have the velocity maxed. Even if you don't have the volume maxed, which usually I have it like over 0 decibels, just with the limiter on it, you're always gonna want the velocity max. Just gets like the full potential out of So I got some more processing, just like what I do by default in my 808s to get them hit even harder. Even if you got good sounds, it's like, I just feel like it gives me more control. So I like putting on the Sound Toys Decapitator on it. It's like so good. Like I use that for like almost every drum sound. Like there's so many good settings on it. And then gonna add a compressor to it and use like this default preset that Fab Filter has. Sidechain it to kick so that it doesn't sound too muggy when the kick and 808 are hitting at the same time, because they're both very low frequency sounds. So you don't want too much occupying the low end of a mix, because yeah, it'll just sound terrible. For the stomp, I got similar processing to the bass, and now that I'm looking over it, I literally forgot to sidechain it to the kick. I hope it doesn't matter too much. I mean, people seem to like it, so it's fine. That's pretty much the song. Yeah, okay. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about how I come up with this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna be real. There's a lot of trial and error. Yeah, I'm gonna put up on the screen like my downloads folder. It's like a little glimpse of like what's to come, and just kind of like gives you guys a little insight into like how many different combinations that you can try. Listen to a wide variety of music, and this stuff will just come to you. I can't promise you that. Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe my brain just works in weird ways. I'll try to explain in more depth if anyone is genuinely curious. Use an actual script or something like that. But yeah, I think I pretty much covered it. Like, let me know if like this is any help. If you guys have any questions, happy to answer them. Oh yeah, all those plugins and stuff you see, like, yeah, I know, like, none of this is cheap, but I started working a part-time job like straight out of high school. I literally bought myself everything this entire time. So, you know, I know I'm in like a lucky position to be able to, you know, just work for myself, not worry about bills or nothing. But yeah, just like focus on one thing and you can do it, you know? Yeah. Thank you guys a lot for watching.